Speaking of religion, Pope Francis made his first visit to a synagogue as pontiff yesterday, the annual Italian Day for Jewish-Christian Dialogue. He is the third pope to visit the Great Synagogue in Rome, where he met with leaders from the Italian capital's Jewish community in a show of interfaith friendship. Francis laid a wreath at a plaque outside the synagogue, marking where Jews were rounded up by the Nazis in 1943 and sent to Auschwitz, and another marking the killing of a 2-year-old boy in an attack by Palestinians on the synagogue in 1982. The visit, sadly, came as an abbey in Jerusalem woke up on Sunday, that would be yesterday, to find its walls defaced by suspected Jewish extremists, graffitiing "Christians, go home" on the abbey walls. Before we delve into this deeper, let's take a look at the following report by Uri Shapira.
Pope Francis paid a rare visit to Rome's Great Synagogue Sunday as tensions rise between the Jewish people and the Holy See. Under tight security, Pope Francis walked into the synagogue and met Italy's chief rabbi, Riccardo Di Sengi.
Jews and Christians must therefore feel like brothers, united by the same God and by a rich common spiritual heritage.
Francis is the third pope to visit Rome's Great Synagogue after John Paul II in 1986 and Benedict XVI in 2010. Last month, the Vatican issued a statement saying Catholics should not actively seek to convert Jews and must do all they can to repel anti-Semitic tendencies. And while Pope Francis is paying his respect to the Jewish community, another hate crime was perpetrated against Christians in Jerusalem. Anti-Christian graffiti was sprayed Sunday on a wall of the Dormition Abbey, saying "Kill the pagans" and "Death to Christian unbelievers." This is the second attack in 3 years on the Abbey, where, according to tradition, the Virgin Mary died.
We took pictures of the graffiti, and of course we try to understand what the message, and we understand very quickly it's not a nice message.
In June 2014, Pope Francis held a special prayer session with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas and former Israeli President Shimon Peres. But the Holy See and the State of Israel soon found themselves in a minor dispute after the Vatican signed a treaty which recognized Palestine as a state. Pope Francis is known for his open and tolerant approach towards non-Christian communities. But in this case, it seems impossible to bring gestures to one side and not to step on the toes of the other.
Well, to begin with, let's go first straight to Rome, where we're joined by Mary Nolan, editor of the Vatican newspaper L'Osservatore Romano. Mary, good morning to you. Firstly, I don't know if there's any reaction or if anybody heard in Rome about what happened also to the Dormition church in Jerusalem yesterday. Has there been?
No, not that I've heard of yet, but we're just waking up here.
Waking up in Rome.
That's definitely a travesty, and I know that there will be news about that. Definitely.
No, and it's a sad thing because take us again, once again, over the weekend, the Pope actually, in a gesture of interfaith relations, went to visit the synagogue. He's the third Pope to visit the Rome synagogue?
That's right. I mean, the third one after John Paul II, 30 years ago, visited and made great overtures of friendship towards the Jewish faith. It's also on the anniversary of Nostra Aetate, which was a fundamental document from Vatican II defining the Catholic Church's relationship towards Judaism as a much more positive and respectful one.
Okay, and I think, as you said, as Rome is waking up, I don't know what the reaction will be coming out of the Vatican, but the Vatican working on relations with all faiths when it comes to the Jewish faith, under the Pope Francis, how would you describe it?
It takes a priority over others in a lot of ways. Pope Francis, taking up the words of John Paul II, the Jewish faith really is our elder brother. So there's a great deal of respect, and definitely from the Holy Father, but also from his predecessors. It's the general move in the Catholic Church now to try to take back some of the animosity that existed in past ages.
In past years, and thousands of years. Mary, thank you for that from Rome. And joining us live from Dormition Abbey in Jerusalem, which saw its wall graffiti by suspected Jewish extremists over the weekend, is Ignatius Bartsch. I want to thank you for being with us this morning. When it comes to the church, first of all, the investigation, any idea who perpetrated this, what we can only call, a hate crime?
Good morning. We haven't yet a message from the police who is to guide the investigations, and we hope that there will be an outcome this time.
We hope there will be an outcome as well this time. When it comes to, this is not the first time it has happened in the church, is it?
No, it is one of a very long series of attacks against Christian institutions in general, but also against Dormition Abbey and Chapka Priory in special. So we had attacks on our cars, we had graffitis, we had an arson attack on our church here in Jerusalem, we had our cars damaged, and it is going now for over 2 years.
For over 2 years, I don't know if we've lost connection with you, Ignatius, but if you can hear me, I'm wondering, with you at the end of the day, over the course of the last year, when there's been so much, or the last several months, so much religious animosity between, be it Israelis and Palestinians, and sometimes Jews and Christians leading to, do you feel that, there needs to be more monitoring, be it police monitoring, of how the faiths interact in Jerusalem? What would you like to see be done when it comes to the latest situation in Israel?
When the first attack on our cars occurred in 2013, the municipality and the police promised to install a proper camera monitoring here on Mount Zion and in our area, and this hasn't happened until today. And of course we are calling now, after one more attack, a new attack, that this finally happens. This is vital for this place, because this unmonitored place, it is an invitation for such people, and we hope that the municipality and the city and the state finally recognizes that it is very vital for every one of us to have a proper monitoring here, of course.
No, and amen to that. I want to thank you for being with us on this. And Mary Nolan, still with us from Rome. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to Ignatius Bartsch out of the Dormition Alley. How can the Vatican react to something like that? I'm asking you to theorize almost when it comes to, a very delicate issue, but clearly, a hate statement on a church in the holy city of Jerusalem.
Well, really, this is a good example of how we really need to appeal to our brothers in the faith. I mean, in the monotheistic faith, there's not much that the Vatican can do or say. The Holy Father denounces all violence in the name of the religion, all hate, but he really needs his brothers in the Holy Land to stand up also for Christian brothers.
Well, the Christian brothers, or one would hope that would be the case. Sadly, when it comes to religion, to get to that point of interface seems to be incredibly hard, especially for the people of the region. And thank you for that. Mary, also with us, so Dr. Sarah Bernstein, the director of the Jerusalem Center for Jewish-Christian Relations, also joining us from Jerusalem. And Dr. Bernstein, in the short time that we have, I want to ask you, as we're looking at the past year and animosities between religious in the Holy City, sadly, I do not think that we have Sarah Bernstein still with us. Sarah Bernstein with us, director of the Jerusalem Center for Jewish-Christian Relations. When it comes to the last several months in Israel, what are we looking at when it comes to Judaism and Christianity? I'm even putting Islam on the side for a second, and their future of getting along, so to speak, in the holy city of Jerusalem?
Well, I think that there's a need for much more educational work to ensure that Jews understand something about the minorities living with us here in this land. Particularly with regards to Christianity, because I think that Judaism has a long history and difficult history with Christianity, and we need to teach people about changes in the churches and about changes in Jewish-Christian relations, and about the need for us as a majority to respect our minorities,
to ensure
freedom of religion,
for all. And I think, sadly, all the time that we have, we'll be back quickly. First, the news.